Some people say yes before they've even heard the full question, and some people say no before you've finished asking. Neither of them is being difficult, neither of them is being weak, they're just running a very old program, one that formed long before they had the words to describe it. If you've ever noticed that you bend more than you should, or that certain people seem almost allergic to softening their edges, this video is going to explain something you've probably felt but never quite named. Agreeableness, on the surface, looks like kindness, and it often is, but it's also something else. It's the person who rewrites a text 4 times because they don't want to sound rude. It's someone who feels genuinely uncomfortable when there's tension in a room, even tension that has nothing to do with them. It's staying quiet in a meeting when you have something to say, not because you doubt yourself, but because the cost of disruption feels too high. Disagreeableness, on the surface, looks like confidence, and sometimes it is, but it's also something else. It's the person who states their opinion without checking your reaction, who doesn't adjust their tone to make you more comfortable, who can walk away from approval without flinching. From the outside, these 2 types look like opposite ends of a personality spectrum. One is warm, cooperative, accommodating. The other is direct, blunt, unbothered. But that framing misses what's actually happening underneath. Here's where it gets more interesting. Highly agreeable people are often incredibly sensitive to social signals. They read the room before they enter it. They track micro-expressions. They adjust, almost automatically, to what the environment seems to need. This isn't people-pleasing as a character flaw, it's a highly tuned social antenna. The question is, when did that antenna become the default setting? For a lot of agreeable people, harmony isn't just pleasant, it's necessary. There was a time, usually early, when keeping the peace felt like keeping yourself safe, when being liked felt like being protected, and the nervous system remembers that. Even decades later, even when there's no threat in the room, it still negotiates before it speaks. Disagreeable people often had a different experience. Not always harsher, sometimes it was simply an environment where directness was valued, or where they learned early that softening themselves came at a cost to their sense of self. They stopped editing before others knew they'd even started. That's not cold, that's its own kind of self-protection. And here's what most people don't realize. Both patterns are doing the same thing. They're managing risk. The agreeable person manages the risk of rejection by staying smooth. The disagreeable person manages the risk of self-erasure by staying firm. One fears losing connection, the other fears losing themselves. Neither is more evolved, neither is more broken. They're just different bets placed on different fears, and both of them make complete sense when you trace them back to where they started. Over time, these patterns don't just shape how you communicate, they shape how you understand yourself. The highly agreeable person often struggles to know what they actually want, not because they're indecisive, but because so much of their energy has gone toward reading others that their own signal gets quiet. They can tell you what everyone around them needs. Telling you what they need takes longer. The highly disagreeable person can sometimes struggle in the other direction. They know exactly what they want, but intimacy, real intimacy, the kind that requires softening, can feel like a trap, like something that will cost them the self they worked hard to keep. Both patterns have a ceiling, not a moral ceiling, a psychological one, a place where the old strategies stop serving the life you're actually in now. Agreeableness and disagreeableness aren't personality types assigned at birth. They're responses that made sense. They were built from real experiences, real environments, real needs. The person who says yes too easily isn't weak. They're loyal to a version of safety that once worked. The person who holds their ground without softening isn't cold. They're loyal to a version of integrity that once protected them. Once you see it that way,
Once you trace the behavior back to the belief behind it, it stops being a judgment. It becomes information. And that's the kind of awareness that quietly shifts things. Not all at once, just gradually. You start to notice a pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. If this explained something for you, there's more to uncover.